And it says we're live. 3, 2, 1. We are live. Welcome everybody to Cranky's Corner, episode 1. This might be a live, a new series. Today, my very good friend and actually in person acquaintance, Long the Bee at Long Live Coins, is with me today, and on my tagline on the description for the video, the stream, I put in there something to the effect of an upcoming event for you in Denver, and that you are making YouTube Stackers community history. B, how are you? Good morning.
I'm good. How are you, Cranky? Good to be here.
I'm better than I deserve, I'm sure. Uh, but I was just telling the bee that uh, somehow my account got deleted, or anyway, I lost all my videos. So there will be no 5 cranky ratings or anything like that until I learn how to recover it. I am not a tech guy, as you all know, over the last couple of years. So we'll
This
get back to that.
that happened this morning,
Yeah.
and you
Well,
lost all of your content.
yeah. And
Oh,
well, she did. Miss Lori did something. Bless her heart. Uh, you know what that means in the South, right? When you say bless her heart. She deleted a bunch of stuff on the computer for some unknown reason, and I'm sure it's recoverable. But again, I'm not the tech guy that
well,
I ought to be, or aspire to be, or could even dream of. So maybe someday I'll get it recovered, but we'll have to see what happens. But today I did do well enough to get an account opened up and
wow,
get this going here. So
wow.
yeah, it was a hectic morning. I started that about 9:30, and I don't know why I started that early, but I'm glad I did, because we wouldn't be having this talk right now had I not.
Wow. Well, man, I feel horrible. I really appreciate that you scrambled to try to keep our contact
Man,
up.
I was stoked. I think the live stream thing is my favorite thing of YouTube, and
Mine as
I
well.
just I really like what you're going to tell everybody about today, and I was stoked. I did not want this to fall through. I see we got Pang in here. Hi, Pang, mustard and biscuits. Uh, 7 Stacks was first in. Hello, hello. Thank you all for coming in.
Mustard and biscuits. That's a nice handle.
It is, and Mustard and Biscuits is a nice individual. I've had some dealings with Mustard and Biscuits, and super nice, super nice. As is pretty much everybody that even thinks about coming around my channel. we're we're uh, we're a small time channel, but I got to be honest with you. I had a very difficult year last year, and you know part of what was going on, and then this thing with Marty the Wonder Dog came up, and it's just been really difficult to put much time in at all on uh, on my YouTube channel. So
Yeah, it's a lot to try to maintain a consistent, showing on YouTube. When you first start your channel, right, for the first few weeks, it's like, oh, this is no problem. But try doing that for a couple years with all the, things that come along with life, unexpected, and maintaining that can be hard.
well, and there is a balance, because I've been doing this. I'm going into my 3rd year, I guess, and that first couple of years, like you're just saying, you're growing the channel and all that sort of thing, and it's like I think probably everybody that has a YouTube channel has encountered the resistance at home as to spending too much time. Uh, it's either too much time with your silver and gold, or it's too much time with your YouTube channel, or not enough time.
Trying to recover your channel or
Yeah, Lord, God help me on that one, because I'm just not. I'm a challenged man,
yeah.
but Have you been up to the Golden and Silver Shop that we were in? What is that, Louisville or Louis?
In Erie. I have
Erie. Yeah.
I might have made it back one more time since we talked, but actually I have in plan to head up there and talk to them about the show too, and see if they, want to make a showing or not there.
That would
Um,
be very good. Very
they may
good.
not. They're well established, so they might not be interested. But I was definitely going to give them an option to.
Well, I think if you remember the first 10 minutes we were in the shop was pretty much no videos. Look around if you want. And by the time we left, if you recall, we we were invited to do a little video and got to talk to everybody in the shop. Super nice people up there.
Yeah.
Super nice people. So I would imagine they'd probably entertain the idea. And if not, maybe next year.
Right.
Um,
Right.
the show that he is talking about is really kind of the reason for the stream today. He invited me to come and participate in his show coming up, and I have other obligations that are going to basic. I just couldn't do it. I really, really wanted to do it. So in lieu of being able to make it personally, I wanted to do a live stream so he could tell everybody what's coming up and cover maybe some of the material he's going to have at the show and all that sort of thing. I don't even know the name of it as of right now, but I'm sure we'll get that information here and some dates and that sort of thing. And then of course, obviously the Marty the Wonder Dog surgery set me back considerably. So I really did have to make a choice in time and money to meet some prior obligations. Well, we'll say. But I do want you to know how much I appreciated the invitation and I wish it could have happened. But
Yeah. Well, it saddens me that you can't make it, but I totally understand, right? I mean, it's going to be during the week, and I only have about a month of forewarning. So normally you would want months, to plan an event like this out. But yeah, it is what it is, and I'm going to keep it going because this is going to be the second annual. Because last year we had a show as well here in the Mile High City. In fact, it was the first ever USA Osmium Symposium, and had a good time there, and just decided let's keep that going and make this an annual event here in the Mile High City, and carry it forward. And this year, is my first event that I'm putting on. It was kind of a collaboration last year, and this year, being it's just such a short notice, I kind of had to take the reins on it and run with it. So yeah, it's hopefully going to be an annual event where we focus on metals. So the actual name of this, would you mind pulling up one of my shared pages there, Cranky? I think if you just click on it, if you look below the stream itself, there you go.
Boy, you're really pushing my tech abilities here already. You guys are seeing the first here. This is great. By the way, Blistering Barnacles is in. Emerald Coast is in. Blistering Barnacles being here, we're officially international and intercontinental. So,
Blistering. Yeah, it's great to see you, Blistering Barnacles. I really appreciate all the support he gives to everybody. And Emerald Coast, good to see you.
Yeah. Hey. So
this is, and everyone is invited. Anyone who sees this stream, you're welcome to come in from out of state. We're even going to have an Airbnb. We'll probably have an extra room.
That would have been mine.
Yes. So, if you need a place to stay and you're coming from out of town, just email me. And if you're already in town or near the area, we would love to have you. It's called Mile High Moss, and the MMAS stands for Music, Metals, and Art Symposium. And so we're gonna incorporate music, metals, and art all into one show. There will be some food, finger food, however you want to kind of hors d'oeuvre, just some snacking. I think I have it labeled as a grazing table is the word they're using nowadays.
No
Uh,
charcuterie.
so yeah, and there will be a wine vendor as well, kind of a high class wine vendor. So I'm excited to have her. And on the art side, we have a painter coming in to paint to the live music. And so she'll be performing and painting to the live music that will be there. The first night, we are to have a band, an actual live instrument band playing. The full extent of the band is yet to be locked in. So this is one thing that we're trying to make happen that may not for sure happen. I know, though, that we will have one great guest I'm very excited to have showing up is Chris Marcus with Arcadia Economics. And he's going to be coming, and of course, we'll talk metals. He's an expert in the metals field. He has all the big names on his channel. And so we'll be talking metals there, but also he is a musician, and he has a CD that has been out for years that with his band that he put out. And let me grab that right quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, this here is a CD, and it's really impressive. The artwork that goes along with the CD is actually quite fitting for my channel because it kind of harkens back to the Greek Empire and the collapse of empires. And so it's music going along with that type of thought process in mind. And it's very impressive. The music, the art, the whole making of the CD, I was really impressed with. And since talking with him, since making this CD, he feels that he's a much better musician. So I was quite impressed with what was already on the CD, and I've heard a couple little outtakes that he sent me. He's very impressive as a musician. So he will be here. He will be performing live guitar. And also, I know at least on the second night, if not the first, I will be DJing as well. And he will be playing guitar along with that. And so there will be a kind of, at least on the second night, I have planned for 3 of us to be performing at the same time. So I'll be DJing, Chris will be on the guitar, possibly with some other band members, and also we'll have a live painter painting to us performing. So yeah, it should be a fun event. Like I say, there will be tables out displayed with, silver, gold, osmium, precious metals. There will be art of different sorts, paintings. I have some ancient Bibles and Bible leaves, ancient coins. So there will be, an array of things for hopefully stackers to enjoy. The idea behind the whole thing is kind of, things that have been valuable throughout time. You hearken back to the ancient Greeks, and one of the big commodities they had was olive oil. Of course, we'll have some of that at the show with some breads. Those things were staples all the way back then. Wine, bread, olive oil, still staples to this day, along with gold, silver, and these metals that have proven themselves throughout time. And so no matter what generation we find ourselves, there are certain aspects or certain products, assets that remain valuable. And that's kind of the, four pillars you hear about the wealthy, which I am not, talk about passing down to their family for generations, and that's art, precious metals, real estate, wine. So, all these types of staples are just staples throughout time. And and it's the why are they say, I mean, you think about it, why has that always been enjoyed? Well, it's the finer things of the reality in which we live, right? And things that don't tarnish, things that remain good, that don't go bad or wear out.
Well,
So
there's a lot of rabbit holes you can go down there with that. I mean, like for instance, the by the way, the artwork on that thing is amazing.
mhm.
I'm going to have to pick a copy of that up. So, but the Greek, and hear me out on this, everybody. The Greek um, construction, architecture was different than Roman architecture. The wines were different. You could go a long time into the different processes that, as far as what's recorded, um, that they had, what was preferred, all that sort of thing. My nephew is a master vintner and CEO of a winery company here in Missouri, and he's he's been doing it for 25 years.
Oh, wow.
But very, very, there's a lot to it, and just the different processes. I guess what I'm saying with the different empires, and of course, clearly the different coinage, um, minting aspects. How each one was minted, and there's a lot of different directions you can go for things like that.
Yeah, well, for sure, let him know about the show. Maybe he
I
wa-
absolutely will.
wants a seat next year for sure. That'd be great. Uh, yeah, West Texas, indeed, it could get crazy, but it might be fun. So good to see you in here, West.
Hi, West
Uh,
Texas. Emerald's got a question for you up on the screen there. Can
yeah. So yes, am I gonna live stream it? Yes, there is. I plan on live streaming it. I've talked to the venue that I have a contract with, for the 2 nights. And they said that you can live stream, but there is no actual plug into the wall. So they say that, I will need a hotspot, and I've never used a hotspot to try to stream from. They say that there's different packages, so the more you spend, the more power you have to stream. Being that at times I think I'll be able to at least stream some of the interviews, the venue, the show. But I'm also hoping to do some spin and bins from there, which is where the music will be fed through the live stream along with the video. So that might be a bit taxing for a hotspot. I'm not sure. But yes, I'm going to try. There will definitely be some live streaming, hopefully most of it.
Cool. Very good. I think that's a marvelous thing, and I don't know the first, obviously, the first thing about live streaming and hotspots and all that sort of thing, but um, this is really your first year and the second year of the thing, the soiree. Um, it's kind of a celebration, really.
Yeah,
But it's still a learning process for you. Hi, humble stacker, just came in.
it
Welcome
is
in.
for sure a learning process, and that's the one thing that I keep in front of me to keep me going is, I know I'm going to learn a lot from this event no matter what. I've not put on an event solely, with me coming up with the event and covering all the aspects of putting on an event. So yeah, that's the one thing I can hang out in front of me. No matter what, I'm sure I'm going to learn some stuff. I'm sure I'm going to have some mistakes and drop the ball in a few areas, but it will all be in good learning, right? Is
Yeah,
what I'm
absolutely,
calling it.
absolutely, and just don't let the learning part of it take away from the overall good things that you're going to get out of the whole thing. And I'm sure you won't. You know, um, it's like you said, it's all part of a learning curve and all that sort of thing. And I would think with, you know, with people that we have in the chat here, and once this gets some views on YouTube, um, if people are interested, you've given the invitation
Yeah.
to be a part of it next year. And I would say probably even this year, if somebody wanted
Oh yeah, yeah. You're
to set up.
invited. Everyone's invited this year, and if you can't, if it's too short a notice, which I understand, I apologize. Next year we will, have, more of a notice if this one is successful in any way. We're going to try to carry it over and make this an annual event. So, yeah, for sure. I wanted to highlight Emerald saying giving new meaning to the name Long Lived. Yeah, that's another thing that I'm trying to do is, kind of remind people that, oh, someone must have subscribed. Thank you very much, whoever did that.
Yeah, and thanks Emerald for dropping Long Live Coins link. And is your, I hate to interrupt, but your email is on your channel page, correct?
Yes, yep. Go
Okay,
to
good, good.
my information and more. I believe if you click the more button, it'll all my information will be there on my home page. And yeah, so I'm trying to bring the idea that why are us stacking channels, and I might, if remind me to dig into this a little bit, this topic of why stacking channels are out here. For me, I came out here with my channel hoping that people would see that there's issues within our economy that are likely not to turn around and go the right way. I would say from what I've looked into it, they're going to continue down the wrong path. And if you don't understand what's happening in our monetary system, you wouldn't know necessarily that you need to start adjusting your portfolio or what little value you have, because the game is now tilted against you.
Mm-hmm.
The monetary system as it stands, if you go back kind of to our early monetary system, that's a pretty level playing field. You don't have to worry much. You can just have your 401k and be good, right? But nowadays, I think that it's the playing field is skewed enough against us that you need to kind of make some moves to protect yourself. For what reason? Well, for these very reasons that we're going to have at this show, just for the quality of life. It's why is wine nice? Well, because it can uplift the spirit. It can last a long time. It can be preserved. Why are salamis and cheeses and crackers enjoyed? Well, because they sustain your life, and they taste good. They nourish your body, right?
There's a little bit of art to all of it.
Yeah, and the art ties into all of it, exactly. And music. Why? What does? Well, for me, music is very uplifting. I can be in a horrible mood and listen to music for a while, and I'm raring to go again. So things that through hard times keep your spirits high, keep you uplifted, keep you with hope in you, keep you moving forward. But knowing, for me, a big thing, I have two boys now, and especially early on, now they're a little bit older, I'm not quite as nervous. It happens fast.
Yeah.
but I was really worried. How am I going to be able to provide for them? Will I be able to keep food on the table and a roof over their head? And so all of these aspects make me hope that people will look at the monetary system, look at our future, and say, let's take some precautions here. And that's what this show is for, is to point out those aspects, highlight them, and yet even hopefully have some fun doing it, because that is ultimately why any of these things would matter to anyone. If you want to secure your future, if you want to live a quality of life that isn't, draining on your soul, then if you just pay attention and realize what's happening, you can step to the left of the train that's coming, and that's kind of the idea here.
I like the idea of it being a celebration of, you're giving people, well, it's a celebration of independence. I mean, you're giving people tools, sharing information that can, you know, change a family outcome down the road. Um, it's enduring.
Yes.
That this kind of celebration can be enduring. So
Yep.
that's awesome, cool. Um, did you want? Let me put up that invitation sheet again, or
Yep.
the information sheet.
Yep. So let me see if I can. I probably can't grab that and high and enlarge it. But yeah. So let's see. Let me read. I have a paper. Let me read through some of the highlights here. So event highlights. Precious metal showcase. So there's gonna be tables just like kind of at a coin show. So you're gonna have silver coins and rounds, gold, silver, gold rounds and coins, and all of that you would see it at a regular coin show. Of course, we're highlighting here the osmium, which is a new precious metal on the market. And those will be available for purchase. So, not only can you come in and enjoy the environment, grab some snacks and grab a drink and walk around, look at the art, look at the metals, listen to the music, and have a conversation and enjoy it. Anything that you see that you think, wow, actually, I would really like to have that piece. Just talk to someone, and most of the things there are going to be purchasable or available for purchase. So there will be that. The first night, we are trying to put together a live performing band. The extent of the band has not been confirmed yet, but there will be some live instruments there. And I guarantee you, even if it was just Chris with his guitar soloing, it's still definitely worth being there for and checking out. Um,
Absolutely. Did you want me to put up the event location
yeah,
page that you got in
go
here?
ahead and throw that one up. That's going to be the where it's held. That the two green, or actually, there's three green separate areas there. Those are all event parking, and then the yellow star there is where it will be held. And so there's plenty of parking. There's a couple businesses there where it says no parking, and one business that is connected to the main parking green area there that are restaurants. And so if the snacks I have set out for you aren't quite cutting your appetite, there are restaurants that will be right there that you can walk in and eat. And so the
Outstanding.
parking should be handy. There should be plenty of food, both from what I have at the event, and if you're starving for a buffet, there's actually a couple restaurants right there in walking distance.
Excellent.
So that is the event layout, and a few more of the highlights will be, of course, I'll be there with my DJ setup for both nights. There will be some other DJs performing as well. There will be an art exhibition. And not only will there be art and paintings up and available for purchase, there will be an artist performing both nights, at least for a time, maybe not the full time, but for a while, actually painting to the live music. So in the second night, we're gonna have where three of us are performing at one time. So that should be worth checking out as well. There will be a
Outstanding.
wine and bread boards, and the final thing, yeah, is wealth preservation and talks from people who have been in this realm of assets and wealth preservation for quite some time. So, and like I say, including Chris Marcus and possibly some other big names we're working on bringing in. But there will be plenty of good knowledge on wealth preservation and assets and that type of event. So
Want to ask you a couple of things about some information on this flyer. First off, though, let's go. Let me put up a comment from Amina. I'm not familiar with Chris, but um, she says that would be a good that fit that vibe if you can get him to an event like that. I'd have to get familiar, but um, if I'm sure she's already picking the the vibe up for the function, and it's nice to thanks for suggesting that.
yeah, for sure.
Might be something we can grow.
Yeah, anybody who themselves is an artist or has some type of product that they're looking to advertise and sell, you or a friend, yeah, have them email longlivecoins@gmail.com. If it doesn't work out for this year, we can plan for next year. Because
And
go ahead.
I was just going to say I would probably venture even depending on, well, I don't know what codes would be like, but maybe even like a pouring tutorial or symposium as far as you know um, how to tone pours or whatever as far as individual
Well, if
uh,
I can if I can
creators.
if I can get you here with the knowledge to do something like that, yeah, we could make it happen.
Well, I'm getting yeah. Oh, my phone stand just fell over. I'm uh I will make it next year, by golly. I will. And I am not the in the type of I'm not good enough to teach anybody. I might by then have my jewelry making just skills somewhat refined, but I'm hoping above hope that happens.
Well, actually,
Um,
that's great, Cranky, because that there's quite a bit of that type of vibe in the air already. As far as there's going to be other jewelers attending as well, and of course, there's quite a bit of interest in osmium in jewelry. And so before my show, there will be representatives coming over from Germany, from the Osmium Institute, and they're going to be traveling. They'll be in Detroit right before they make it to my show, and talking with jewelers at a jewelers like symposium type thing where they're discussing new ideas on setting stones and setting different things in jewelry and how to design them and all that stuff. And the Osmium Institute is showing up to talk about how to set osmium in jewelry. So, and then following my show in California, after the Las Vegas jewelry show that the Osmium Institute will be showing up at in Las Vegas, there's going to be an even further show in California with Nick, one of my fellow friends, partners in California, that will be putting on a jewelry type of an event for osmium and precious metals. And so yeah. uh,
I think I just found my new calling. I think I need to get a contract with you all as the circuit promoter. Uh, because the states I'm seeing it happen in so far are pretty desirable states to visit. I wouldn't necessarily want to live out on the West Coast, but
Great for
um,
a visit, indeed.
so
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about on the flyer. There were a few words that said. Obviously, you talked a little bit about the Osmium Symposium, and I think the jewelry thing is probably going to be something that's really up and coming. But like you said the other day, a large part of the requests, I think it'd be cool for silver, but platinum seems to be the metal of choice with that, and I get it. But I saw Osmium Institute and Colorado Partner.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that, and what it took to get there.
It takes training. It takes caring about it. Really, I mean, they're a little hesitant to take on too many partners. They want to make sure that people are interested in it and have the right intentions in mind. But yeah, I mean, it's a legit company with a legit product that, you know, is expanding throughout the world. And, you know, they are like any company, right? You have your ins and outs and what you can do, what you can't do. And, you know, so you take some classes on to learn about the product itself, right? Like you need to know what is osmium and what are the different aspects of osmium. And then, you know, then you get down to their product, which is crystalline osmium. And so you have to know all the ins and outs about that. Yeah, so once you've kind of taken the classes and had a few meetings with them, and on you know, you can work on becoming an integral part of the company. I think how did I become a partner? I think I was lucky in that I was one of the first ones through the door in the US. I found the product through ARC out of Wyoming. I went and visited Ian Everard of ARC Silver Gold Osmium, and I was there for silver. I was there for, let me grab this. I was there for this product here, which is a slice of a Comex 1,000 ounce bar. So I was there to pick up a piece of history from the Comex, you know. And since I can't afford 1,000 ounce bar, I figured I could afford a slice of a 1,000 ounce bar. This is about 16 ounces right here, pure silver.
You did a little series on that, didn't you, on your channel?
Yep, yep. And
Yeah.
and that's how, when I was down there at the shop, I seen osmium. I'm like, what is this? And we started talking about it. I ended up purchasing a piece before I left, and it just kind of, you know, then I talked with him about it on a few live streams and got introduced to the Osmium Institute, and, you know, had a few talks with them. And then we've been to the New Orleans Investment Conference, which I don't know if anybody knows about the New Orleans Investment Conference. We've been there now with the Osmium Institute 3 years, and we'll be back there again this year. It is one of the longest running precious metals or investment conferences that are focused on the metals out there. They started right when they basically closed the gold window. Someone had enough foresight to say this is not going to end well, and that's what started that conference up. So I've had interaction with them there. I helped set up their booths there. And I think, kind of, you know, working with them through all of that, they decided that I was reliable enough to join the team and become a partner.
Cool.
So yeah,
Very nice.
you know, there's still opportunity there. This is a brand new product hitting the market. It's not going to go away. It's not some gimmick. Osmium is the rarest precious metal in the world. It is the last precious metal to hit the tangible market. It is something that does not tarnish. It is the densest element known to man. The characteristics, just the list goes on and on. The things that make this metal very unique. Not only is it the rarest element known to man and the most dense, and has a hardness that's just unrivaled. It's right there with diamonds. And it's actually more abrasion resistant than diamonds. So the qualities of this metal are mind-blowing, and it's something that we've just invented or just came across knowing that exists. If you don't mind if I share how it was found, I think is a fascinating story.
I think you should. Yeah. Yeah.
So some chemists were breaking down metals in the 1800s, and like with aqua regia, with acids, and they would drop in, you know, gold and silver in this acid, and they would watch it dissolve. And in a couple samples, there was this element that they couldn't get to dissolve, and they kept hitting it with strong solutions, and it just would not dissolve. Well, it turns out that's osmium. Osmium and iridium. They were both kind of found right there, and it's because they don't break down. Especially once they're in this crystalline form here, they become the most inert like of anything on the earth. So no alkaline, no acid will affect crystalline osmium. So you could drop this, like this round here from my good friend Space Miner, is just a pure silver round, but in the camera lens there you can see a piece of osmium. And if I was to drop this silver round into aqua regia, the silver round would become liquid. You would no longer see the silver round. You would just see liquid in the container. However, that piece of osmium would be fresh and clean at the bottom of the glass and
That's
unaffected.
amazing. That's
So
amazing.
yeah, it's one more amazing thing is that's how they found it, because they literally couldn't break the thing down. And it has, like, it's broken compression machines when they try to, they have those big ton presses that will press something until it finally breaks. It will break the press before it breaks often. So
Wow, trying to blow stuff up and you can't. It's got to be intriguing.
yeah,
That's got to be worth something.
yeah, and for jewelry, what's amazing is in this crystalline form, it grows like in this lattice form, and it lays out uniformly flat, but in lots of different growth patterns. So it's kind of like looking at sandpaper in the way that it grows. You can have it grown for a short time and it will be fairly like a fine sandpaper, or you can let it grow for longer and it becomes more coarse and rigid. However, each little crystal facet becomes a mirror, and it reflects all of the light back at you. So whereas a diamond, we know diamonds is very sparkly, right? That's why so many jewelers love to work with diamonds. It really catches your eye from across the room. Well, this is a unique product that does that same thing, except even more so. This will catch your eye from a much further distance than a diamond will, because this reflects all of the light back at your eye, whereas a diamond will refract some of the light. Some of the light goes through the diamond, right? So this actually is brighter, more vibrant, has a more bright, vibrant effect in jewelry. So
Now you were saying when you grow it, I'm assuming that's through the crystallization, the crystalline process chemically,
yep.
and every single piece is unique. There's never any two exactly the same, are there?
Yeah, that's another amazing thing about it in my mind, is that just like a snowflake forms, right? They all form just with their own unique fingerprint, and it's the same with this product. And that's kind of one of the things that the Osmium Institute was founded for. Not only do they have the very best equipment for testing that this is pure osmium in the world, what they do is the Osmium Institute this gets confused a lot. So the Osmium Institute does not actually create this product. All they do is verify that it's legit. So there's actually another chemist, I believe, in Switzerland, and he spent his whole life doing this to metals.
I think you're right, because I think I remember you and Ian talking about discussing that with the yeah, but he spent his life.
He spent his life breaking, like we say, dropping these in acids, trying to reform them, to crystallize them, trying, what all can he do? What can he come up with? He's, just kind of a scientist in his own mind, that he can come up with this product. He tried it with all the other metals, and the only metal that he was able to complete this task on was osmium. And then he took his crystalline osmium to several people, and they said, well, if you can do it in this setting and in this pattern and in this way, we'll back you on this idea. And so it took him years to get it into a even crystalline form that we see here today. And when he finally perfected that, that's when the Osmium Institute was founded. And what they do is they take that product when it comes in, and it usually comes in what we call investment discs, which is a 3 or 4 inch big round disc. It's pretty thin because it's always just kind of a flat sheet in the way it's
Sure.
produced. But they take that investor disc, and you can buy that. What they do is they scan that with high-tech scanning equipment, all those little unique facets of crystalline structure. They document, they put it in their database and give it a unique code. And then sometimes they'll cut shapes into it, document that piece, give it a unique code. And so every piece of osmium that is produced and sold through us, through the Osmium Institute, has its own unique built-in code. And what that allows you to do is buy that piece, and then only you have the rights to sell that piece. So when I bought these pieces, I get a code sent to me that shows that I own each one of these pieces. And if someone came in and stole this and tried to resell it, it would just be tracked back to me, and they would say, "Did you really sell this to so and so?" And I'd say no, and then that guy would be arrested, and I would get my product back. So that's kind of the process. They document it to make sure it's real legit. They document that unique code that's built into every piece, and with that comes a unique code that you will get sent if you purchase it, and then that gives you the title, the ownership, and you can resell it to whoever, whenever you want. You just have to both sell them the piece and then you transfer the code to them. And it's not like I make up that code. I would just say, Cranky Stacker bought a piece of osmium from me. And when I hit sold to Cranky Stacker, then the Osmium Institute computer generates a code and sends it to Cranky Stacker, and I would have no idea what that code is. My code gets wiped and erased, so I no longer have access to that piece. And then Cranky Stacker would have the code and the ownership of that piece.
So pawn shops are out of the question.
Well, no, but they would just need the code, right? You can sell
I
it to a
got you.
pawn shop, but they would just have to have the ownership code to resell it.
You'd have to have a pretty decent amount of money coming back on that one to go through the hoops on that at a pawn shop.
Yeah, and it really, and I've struggled a little bit with this, and I definitely messed up in the beginning of my channel trying to explain this to people. I made it way too difficult, and it's really not difficult at all. It's the exact same as selling a piece of silver. So if I was to sell this to you, Cranky, I put it out in an auction and I say buy it now, and you type in the live chat buy it now, and I say sold to Cranky Stacker. Well, I just have to, send Cranky a bill. He pays me for that, an invoice. He pays me for the invoice. Then I put this in the mail and send it to him. That's exactly what happens with this. The only other thing is I have to put in my code, my OCC code, and say transfer, and I put in the name. It'll say who's the title going to, and I'd put in Cranky Stacker or whatever name he gave to me. I put in that name, and that's all I need to do. I hit send, and it shows that the transfer has been complete. So I would, just the same as I drop this piece of silver in the mail, I would drop the osmium in the mail, and when Cranky receives it, Cranky says, "Oh, I got it in the mail," and I say, "Oh, send code." Just, with one click, I enter in my code, hit transfer ownership, and that's all. It's within 30 seconds. It is not hard at all. So it's not complicated, and it's literally not hardly any more steps than you're taking with silver. Maybe another 30 seconds onto the process.
Well, and it's been around for a while, and honestly, I remember when you first started getting into this, and uh, space
Space Miner.
Space Miner, yeah, thank you. Space
Yep.
Cadet over here. Space Miner kind of got in at the same time, but I remember thinking, initially, there are some other people in the community that already have made some purchases on this, and I remember at the first thinking, boy, it almost sounds like a multi-level marketing kind of thing,
Yeah.
the way I understood it in the beginning. But it's been around, a considerable amount of time now, and not just here, but in Europe in particular. It's got a pretty good track record as far as I know. I've
Yeah,
never heard anybody say anything, disparaging about any dealings with it, you know.
yes. So the Osmium Institute is located in Germany, I believe Smyrna or something like that, and that's where they first launched it. And it was launched about 10 years in Europe before they approached the U.S. and Japan and China. Like they're it's spreading worldwide, but they started there in the EU, and they sold it there mostly to sovereign wealth funds, to family offices, wealth.
Rothschilds.
Exactly. Wealth, larger wealth preservation platforms. But since then, it's really kind of taken off in jewelry as well, and now it's just become both an asset and commodity in jewelry as well. So there's a
I'm real interested in that part of it.
that yeah. Why wouldn't you be, right? Like,
Y-
which I'm sorry, come back to that, but I want to address a question here in the chat that says, so it is like a lab diamond, someone makes it. That's a great question, and thanks for noticing that. It is kind of like that, except it's on the opposite end of the spectrum. With diamonds, they're lab grown, and all that you need to make a lab grown diamond is carbon. Is it dioxide or monoxide? I get those mixed up, but you need carbon, and carbon is the most plentiful element that there is.
Yep.
So you can make lab diamonds till the cows come home. You're not going to run out of product. We are on the opposite end of that spectrum with osmium. It is the rarest element known to man, or the rarest metal known to man. Pretty much the rarest element, but I mean, definitely the rarest precious element known to man. And along with all those other characteristics that it entails, in fact, we're already out of sparkle grade 1. There's 5 different sparkle grades. I had mentioned about the amount of coarseness on each piece. And if you let it grow for a little while, we call that a sparkle grade 1. It's still pretty refined, pretty smooth, lots of sparkle points, but not very big points of reflection. And as that grows from sparkle grade 1, they let it grow another week, sparkle grade 2, another week 3, another week 4, another week 5. And that's about as far as they'll grow before it starts getting uneven. And so they stop at sparkle grade 5. And yeah, I'm kind of losing my mind where I was going there with that. But yeah, you're only going to get so much. Oh yeah, so sparkle grade 1 is sold out already. We're no longer making sparkle grade 1. So a lot of people were asking what's going to be the first thing to sell out first. Well, that's happened. It's sparkle grade 1. There are a few pieces. I've got a couple pieces that I have left for sale. There's a couple still on the market, but there's no more coming in. And once what's sold is sold, there's no more sparkle grade 1. So this is something that will sell out, that will go unavailable at some point. And so that's what is so different about crystalline osmium as opposed to diamonds. Yes, this is grown in a lab. However, it's pure metal. Each piece is 5 nines, 5 plus pure. I mean, it is just pure metal. So, but it is the rarest element out there, and it's also hard to process as far as refining metals, right? Like when you refine silver, you refine gold, and that works its way up to osmium, and that's one of the hardest to pull and refine and get to a pure state. And but there is very little of it. So that's kind of why, when it was first discovered, like it was used in light filaments. And the funny thing was, in the 18 when they started making it in light filaments, you would return your lights to the company and they would give you a refund because of the value of the osmium in the light.
Wow.
And then it was used in phonograph record needles, and tips of pins so they didn't wear out.
Never
Um,
dull.
right. So they found a few uses for it since it's been discovered, but a lot of people, it's so rare, so expensive, so hard to get a hold of. What do you do with it? So it's only been known for a couple hundred years. And this is one of the first companies that has come up with this metal of production. Again, that scientist that worked on all those different metals, and this unique metal is the one that actually worked for him, surprisingly. So
That that brings me to another thing, that osmium in its native form is toxic, is it not? It's poison if you get
so yeah,
at some phase. And
at some
another
phase, yeah.
a second point on this is when did it hit the periodic table?
Boy, that's a great question. When it hit the periodic table, it would have been shortly after its discovery in 1800 there.
So when I
Um,
was in junior high, then they probably added the
yes, it probably would have been added by the time you were in junior high. Um, and the toxicity. So the what it's not the metal itself that's well, I guess it's kind of off-putting. So what it is when you ground all these things up into the powder, where you start separating silver and gold and you drop it into these big acid vats. I don't know if you've seen like First Majestic silver. I don't know if you've seen their they have these great big tubs that are like, 5 times the size of your house or whatever, and they're filled with acid, and they just dump what looks to be dirt or sand into this solution. And this solution is like an acidic solution, whatever it is. It separates chemically these different metals. So it's during this dirt, metal, fine, refined sand that if osmium is present, it gives off a gas when the refined sand gets exposed to oxygen for the first time. It off gases, and that off gas smells like onion or garlic. I think it's garlic actually, and that's where it gets its name. Is Greeks called garlic osmium, or the smell of garlic osmia, or something like that.
wow, that's pretty
and
cool.
and so they've known about the smell of it for a long time, and that something's going on there, maybe a bit dangerous. Maybe that's where the oracle was getting her uh illusions from. But so
Delusions.
that's actually what is toxic, is when that dust gets exposed to oxygen kind of for the first time. It has a chemical reaction and off gases this gas called tetroxide or something, osmium tetroxide. That is bad for your health. It hurts your lung, burns your lungs. Toxic. Don't want to mess with it. However, once it is transferred into this crystalline state form, again, it becomes the most inert of anything. You can't break it down. You have to get it is one you so it is also one of the highest melting point metals. Okay. So you have to get extreme temperatures to break this stuff down, and you would have to get it to an extreme temperature before it would off gas any potential problem. So your house has to be burning down before you have to worry about the off gas of your osmium in your house. And then at that point, you've got bigger problems, right? So
Yep.
it's
Yep.
just it's just and it won't break down to any acids or alkaline. It'll be the last thing standing. If everything gets destroyed, this will still be standing.
I'd like to have a suit of it. Just prop me up in there.
Right, right.
Hey,
So,
real quick here, I want to say happy birthday to OC Omega 3. Thanks
oh
for
wow,
coming
happy
in, and
birthday, LT.
happy birthday, young man.
Yeah.
He's got here. He's got a heck of a collection of things like this. Oh,
Pull
wait a
yourself
minute.
up. I can't
Yeah,
hear.
let me pull myself up here.
Oh, I got another
I'm gonna
subscriber. Thank you so much. Appreciate you
I'm gonna go
subscribing.
to. Hey,
Mitchy
how do I
Stacker,
get to?
welcome in.
There
There
we
you are.
go. There. This is the Case Classic. He's
Oh,
got.
I
He's
have
got it.
I have a model. I have that exact model of knife. My dad bought
This
that
is.
for me. That's a
Yep. This
famous
is
one.
awesome. And then this is Miss Lori got me this. This is a Scottish Skindoo.
Oh wow.
Um,
Look at that.
really sharp. They used to tuck these in their socks and their shawls, kilts around the. It's basically a close encounters kind of self defense thing. But I
Nice.
just want to say
Yeah.
happy birthday to him and show him I got a knife too. Um, but I don't know if you can see the question up on the screen. There's a Pang was asking, is there a price graph on osmium for the past years?
Yes, there is. Let me pull that up and I'll share the screen. That's another great question. Boy, this is turning out to be an osmium focused stream. This is
Hi,
great.
Jesus and Silver. Thanks for coming in. Well, and you know what? We haven't even got to the ancient coins yet, dude. I,
Right, right.
I want to I want to talk about some of that too. You have been, by the way, doing some exceptional shorts. When you and I talked the other day, I think I mentioned that to you. If you're not on Instagram, cool. And I haven't even. I don't know that I've seen them on YouTube. Are the same ones on YouTube as you've been putting up on
Yes, they were actually on
Instagram?
YouTube. Yeah, they've been on YouTube. I've had them on YouTube for a while. That's where I first put them out, and I just had not gotten to Instagram. And like since I opened the account a year or two ago, but literally hadn't posted anything. And so just a week or so, a few days ago, I thought, okay, I got to get something on there. So I posted some of my shorts onto Instagram, and yeah, there's some of them kind of took off there. So yeah.
It's a great little series, and this guy knows a tremendous amount about ancient coins. And I actually, excuse me, I'm going to have to cough here. Let me mute for a second.
And then when you come back, Cranky, I put another page. It's got the osmium price there. If you can
Okay.
pull that up for me, we can
Yeah,
answer that question.
I forgot what I was saying. Dad
Oh, I'm
burned
sorry,
coughing.
my bad.
No, that's all right. No, you get used to it. it just becomes a way of life. Um, uh, well, hang on one second here. I'm trying to. There we go. Holy smokes! You'd be right proud of me, B. I
I am. If you're getting the fact that you got your account back up to have this live stream, I'm actually
no.
pretty
I made a
impressed
new
about.
account. I did not get it back.
Your own. Well, how do you? But it's showing that you have 1,019 subscribers, about 1.19K subscribers.
Yeah. I'm at 1198.
So,
I've been stuck between 1197, 1198 forever and a day, and I'm good with that. But it's the StreamYard thing. I had my videos loaded into it for the 1 through 5, 5 out of 5 crankies and that sort of thing, and some payment banners and things like that, and it's just gone. It's gone. So
ouch.
anyway, to the question on the bottom of the screen there, Pang, here's the chart.
Yep.
Um,
So here's the chart. You'll notice there are kind of two separate colors of blue in this chart, and they kind of track each other, but one is lower than the other. So the top graph, the top light blue, is the crystalline osmium price. And we go back here about, let's see if it, so that would be in 2017. Looks like January 2017 it launched. It was at 528 euros. I could probably change that to dollars, but actually I can. Hold on one second. Here we go. This will change it to dollars.
yeah, speaking of falling empires and changing in currencies and things like that, the if you're holding euros, you may have some collector's pieces sooner rather than later, right?
Ah,
With the state of things.
yeah.
But I
Uh,
digress.
Right. So yeah, so the top graph is the crystalline osmium. The high tech ready is just a purified form of the powder that you cannot hold in your hands. You can buy it and have it just in its powder form, and they will store it in their vault for you if you prefer to do it that way. But the crystalline osmium is the actual physical object that you will receive in your hand, which is what I prefer to hold. But the price, as you can see, it started out in 2017 at about $567. It has had about a yearly 15% increase if you round everything out.
And was that opening price or starting price, as far as price history here, was that um is it, how was that established? Was that what it was being dealt in the European market, or
Yes, yeah. So it is.
okay,
It's not. So this chart here is simply the supply and demand fundamental chart. So it's not on a stock exchange, so it can't be spoofed with paper or this or that. This is purely physical supply sold into reality, and that's how they're tracking the chart.
zero speculators, folks?
Right. And so I
Physical assets.
physical asset, yep, that can't be destroyed and can be this is really a hand me down generational thing here. This is
And
not a
that's why the rich in Europe are actually kind of drifting towards it, isn't it?
yes, they're not. This is not a and even silver the same, I would say, but this even more so. This is not something that you were going to buy today and hope jumps up in price, even though it probably will, and you sell tomorrow. That's not really the point. This is early on in an asset and in a future that could get very valuable. So this is a long term. This is at the very opening stage of the game here. So
Well, I have a question for you then. Hey, Christopher James thanks for coming in. I have a question for you then.
yes, sir.
If it is, like gold has been money, silver's been money for thousands of years.
Yes, sir.
Um, Osmium has not.
No.
Um, what protects it from? How do I want to ask this? If granted, it's a physical asset, but what keeps it? I mean, what kind of market is there should uh, world currencies disappear? What's the value in it then? Is it because gold is gold, right? Um,
Yes, but you're asking the same question to gold too. Like, what will gold do if all the physical? It will be valuable, and it will probably rate at the relation to whatever is left over. If the because I this is I would love to expand on this topic as well, because that is what we're experiencing, right? We're experiencing ever since we went off the gold window, we've been in la la land, and that la la land experiment of fiat paper magic money hat idea is, in my opinion, coming to its end. This is why we're seeing the wars we're seeing around the world, the redrawing of lines, the transfer of goods, right? Is starting to break down. And so, what will be of value when this fake paper dollar that we're used to, the U.S. paper dollar, when that goes to zero, how are things going to be priced? Well, a lot of us stackers say all of that value, it doesn't disappear, it goes back into real things. Because the paper dollar is imaginary, right? You can print that at no end until it basically loses its value, which is what I think we're experiencing.
mhm.
And so what will remain? Well, all of that value that's just in people's imaginations out there in space or universe, whatever you want to call it, out there in the ether, in people's minds, will find its way back into real things. What's going to have value? Coffee, meat, lettuce, cheese. I
Mhm.
mean, real things. Things that, again, just like this show is about, things that have had value forever. Like what? Well, like gold, like silver, like wine, like cheese, like crackers, right? And so all of the commodities, I believe, will come back to take the value out of these fiat false currencies. And
I
so, Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I got to share this with y'all. Hold on a second. I'm babysitting uh well, the granddogger, I guess. Um I got to show you this. Can you see her?
Oh, here we go. Yeah, no, you. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hello there.
That's Stella. She is blind as a bat, and she's standing outside the studio door, like staring at me like she can see me. I guarantee you she can't.
Yeah.
Um,
She
I
knows
had
you're
to share that
there.
with you. I'm sorry.
No, she knows you're there though, right?
She does, because I'm the one that feeds her.
There you go.
Sorry about that
No,
interruption there.
yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Well,
no.
and you know what? Along that line again, why wouldn't the rich get into it ahead of time because they know what's coming?
Right.
They know there's a collapse. So why not start out the new system ahead of everybody else
Yeah.
with
And
what's going to be?
this will be a luxury. It won't be like silver. Like I tell everyone just on my, this is just my own personal, on my channel, if anyone's thinking about buying osmium, sure, I'm happy to give them some, but or to sell them some, I should say, not give it, but is that
Hello.
you should, for if you're, you should first have some gold and silver, right? You should have some silver, especially if you're at all getting into osmium for the value preservation, which I believe will be there. But it's not the first thing that you should turn to, in my opinion. You should definitely have a large pile of silver, maybe some gold, and that is going to be your instant go-to for quick liquidation, right? Gold and silver are the most liquid commodity on earth, and that's what makes them money. A lot of people think that money is made by decree. No. Well, our fiat dollar is, I guess, but
Yeah, yeah.
the reason that gold and silver have been for thousands of years money is because they're money naturally. They are the most tradable liquid commodity worldwide. Doesn't matter what border you cross. It's the commodity itself. It's the intrinsic value of the metals. They don't tarnish. They don't go bad. They don't spoil. And so, that's what makes them money throughout time. So that's what you want to have for quick liquidation. You need to have that for your go-to value cover. In the long term, if you have some silver and gold, that's where osmium becomes a very interesting asset, because yes, it's like you say, it's those wealthy people that are going to buy into this. Because why? Well, wealthy people can have some of the nicer things in life, right? That's why they set out cheese and crackers and wine at these events, because it's the nicer, finer things of life. You enjoy them. It uplifts your spirit. So they're going to get into osmium because it's the coolest thing in jewelry there is, right? It catches your eye more than any other thing out there. And it's the most rare asset out there. It's the most rare, precious metal. It does not tarnish, just the same as gold. So they're going to get that as a nicety, as a speculation, to say that they have something that no one else has, those types of reasonings.
And
But
if you have that, you can get gold and silver.
exactly.
Just get
And
rid of a little bit of. I hate to interrupt here, but I just had an epiphany here. This is Berkshire Hathaway weekend in Omaha,
oh, really?
and yeah, and you should have a booth.
Yeah, no
That's
doubt.
all I'm going to say about that one.
So yeah, if we're looking at the chart here, I got in at $1,600 a couple years ago. Since then, it dropped. Of course, I got in, and what happened? The first thing is it fell in price. But
Yep.
so I got it right the 1650 there area. It fell back in price, but then since it's jumped way up to over 25. So if you
Very
kind of
nice.
round that out, you're at 15-16% yearly, somewhere in there, gains. But again, this is day one, really. I mean, we're just getting to the market in the States here, just hitting some of the other markets in the other countries. It's just now getting spread out across the world. So I think the good thing about the timing right now is it's unknown enough that getting in might be not a bad idea for the long run, right? I have, in
Hmm.
my opinion, in the years to come, this will become more valuable. At what time will it take off? That, I don't know, but I think with the intrinsic aspects built into this metal, I don't see it becoming valueless. Let's put it that way.
Well, again, I could see them coming up, you know, starting the new system with something that nobody else has. It's how they've done things for thousands of years. You know,
Oh, right. Yeah.
um, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so now, is there a network of owners who has it ever come up that somebody wanted to say trade for gold and silver, or actually had some sales that you know of personally?
Well, I've actually had a couple myself where I have swapped silver for osmium. For example, and here's another here's another quality of osmium. I did a New Year's GA, and I had a couple people from Australia down under who attended, and they won some silver. Well, it just so happens that you can't ship silver rounds, silver coins, junk 90%. None of that is allowed to go through customs into Australia. So I cannot send silver over there. And I told them, well, I'll just send you the cash equivalent. And but actually both of them said, well, how about that osmium? And so we just swapped osmium for that value. And one has been successfully sent and received. The other one is in transit right now. I should be hearing back soon.
Well,
Um,
nice, nice.
but osmium is able to transfer through customs. That's one of the things that the Institute did when they first set out. So I don't know if here we go. Let me grab this. This is this
You're,
little.
did you lock your screen, or is it because I'm not seeing your
Oh, here, let me try to reset it here.
and folks, this is a a good part of what's going to be going on. I that Berkshire Hathaway thing to me just like they were talking about Fruit of the Looms display, their booth this year not having the traffic that it has
Can
in the
you
past.
can you kick me out of your studio and then pull me
Sure.
back in?
Sure.
Because
Let's see here. Let's see here. How we doing? No? Oh, there we go.
am
Yeah.
I moving?
Can you hear me? Yeah, you're moving now.
Okay, cool. Yes. So this is a piece of osmium here, and it comes in this container. And the reason I'm showing you this is that this is what we call the OIC code. And each piece of osmium has a code, and that just correlates to the piece. And but this code right here is actually a reference code to customs worldwide. All the different countries that the Osmium Institute has been let into log these codes into their customs profile. So when I send this piece over to Australia, they look up that code and it should be osmium and it should look like this, and it does, and this is what this is, and yes, this is okay to come into our country. So the Osmium Institute made sure that this would be easily transferable from one country to another, which if you had to take a large amount of wealth and go into another country, you could put it into crypto, right? You could put it in Bitcoin and do it that way. However, this way you get to hold the piece in your hand, fly over to Australia with a big value disc, worth a few $100,000, which the big 3 or 4 inch value disc is a couple $100,000 value. And so you could take a couple discs in your hand, the value of a house, and put that in your left front pocket, fly over to Australia, get off the plane, and you've got a $500,000 in your pocket, or $1 million, whatever your value is. But
I'm
point being, that would be a tangible asset that you can carry into any country without the
internationally.
country
Yeah.
saying, whoa, you can't be bringing this in here without documents, blah, 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 blah.
Well,
So
I
that's
think I might have to sew me on some new buttons on my
right,
travel
right.
jacket.
Well, that's a known practice. Like, I don't know if you guys know Lynette Zhang. She talks a lot about
Absolutely.
wealth
I'm a
preservation.
big
Love
fan
her.
of her, big fan of her community aspect of things.
Yes, me too. And we're trying to build that community at this upcoming show as well. So more on that. But yeah, she talks about wearing jewelry to other countries because if you're wearing it, it usually kind of goes over their head, and they don't
Yeah,
realize that, oh, this is actually really valuable and blah blah blah. And I think it's actually in the written languages. If you're wearing it, it's okay to come into some weird language like that. But
sure.
so yeah, this is an asset that can travel with you, tangible, that you have the value in your hand, right? It's not just, oh, if I can access it through the internet, which is a whole nother
Yeah.
subject about, whether you're going to be able to access the internet or not with the recognition tools that are coming out and whatnot.
Let me
But
call my banker. Yeah.
so right, which is another crazy thing about not being able to get your own money out of your own bank. You've exceeded your limit for the day, right? Like, this is getting
Yeah.
it's getting a little hairy there. So
I think our buddies in the UK have been dealing with that for quite some time. Backyard Bullions talked about things being refused or diverted, or and I think 365 also made a reference to it at one point in time. And, you know, it's coming this way, folks.
it is, it
I
is.
hate to tell you this, the banks haven't got any money since they started
Just
fractional
yours.
lending. Since they started fractional lending, it's uh, well, let's just say if my banker calls me and asks me to loan him $100, probably I would do it once, but but after that, I don't know. I don't
Yep,
know.
yep. Yeah, it's scary once you realize what they're really doing. When you hand your money to the bank, it's actually becomes theirs, and that's why you kind of have to ask. And they ask you, well, what are you pulling this money out for? Well, why would I have to explain it to you? Well, because
Mhm.
actually in their minds, it is actually their asset, and by paper law, it is their asset. So
Yeah. The banking changed again this year too. There's a federal form at $10,000, right? We're all familiar with that number. I don't have $10,000, but I'm familiar with the form you got to fill out for that kind of transaction. But
yeah,
um, and fact check me on this, folks. But as far as I know, legislation's gone through where banks, the government is requiring banks to monitor your transactions if they're repeating transactions down to it's either $300 or $500. I think it's $300.
I think you're right.
If they're repeating transactions and they can show a pattern, your account can be flagged. In fact, it's required to be flagged um, as possible criminal activity, whatever, however they want to say it. Um, so if you've got stuff coming in and out from Venmo, and that's how they're getting their finger on everybody's accounts is they can report it as patternized, I believe was the term, and they don't even have to advise you to tell you that your account has been flagged, and they can just shut it down for suspicion.
Yep.
So don't think for a minute, everybody, that your money in the bank's safe. It's not.
Yeah.
In fact, it
Well,
isn't yours.
I bet everybody in here has experienced their card being shut down until you get a little text saying, "Was this you that tried to make this
Yeah,
transaction?"
yeah. In the
Well,
interest of fraud protection.
yeah,
Yeah,
I did. For me, we fall back to the pre-crime thing, right? Like, if I report that it's been stolen, yeah, now shut it down. Now look into it. Now ask
exactly.
questions, but
Yeah,
don't do it before I've made a complaint. Yes, it was me that, and then
yeah.
it's like,
And supposedly they've enacted these banking practices regulations because of uh, the big fraud that's going on You know, instead of they want to make sure that money's not going fraudulently, being fraudulently made, and B, sent out of the country or coming into the country under different pretenses. Um, and it's just not, uh, you know, it's it's not right. It's overregulation and not safe. JK Pioneer, how you doing? Thanks for coming in. Uh, it's just one step closer to the control. So,
Yeah.
and like, who was it said that? Yeah, JK said it. Be your own bank.
Yep.
That's what we're all about with precious metals and stacking and collecting and whatever form, making, however you want to do it. Um, it's
Yep. They're doing it.
it's important.
Safe and effective. Anytime I hear that nowadays, I run the other way.
Well, and yeah, and you mentioned Lynette Zhang earlier. You know, uh, she's always saying, you know, take that third party accountability, and Sal says it quite a bit too. Take the third party,
Out of it,
you
yeah, if you
know,
can. When you
element out of it. There's danger in even that, and that
yeah,
third party can include your bank. So yeah, that's the real deal, folks.
yeah.
It's on us. So, um, well, just I don't know how much time you've got. I'm enjoying myself immensely, but uh, back to the upcoming event, along the coin line of things, or the other precious metals other than osmium. What you got lined up? What's going to be featured this year? And
Yeah.
you'll probably have some silver in your pocket, right?
Oh yeah, we'll have the basics. We'll have silver. We'll have gold. We'll have copper.
Can
Uh,
we incorporate an element of transactions in gold and silver at the function, or is that going to be something for next year?
no, yes, it'll be for sale if that's what you're asking. Yeah.
Well, can you buy and sell? Uh,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes.
like that's a 10th ounce glass of wine right there.
That's
That's what I'm
right.
saying.
Yeah. No. I'm sure that will be happening for sure. So. Yeah,
I,
and
I,
there will be unique metals too that you probably haven't heard of. Like I'm gonna have, for one thing, like you'd mentioned earlier, I'll have my ancient coins, which and there that's ancient Greek coins. If you've never seen ancient Greek coins, it is a sight to behold. The art in those and the fact that they're thousands of years old is, for me, jaw dropping. It's amazing. I love them. But there will also be, like, depending on who's there, Ark, he's big in rhenium right now. That's his new metal that he's focused on. And then you have like Space Miner. I'm hoping he'll be there. Space Miner he's another one of these metal chemist mine type of guys that is very impressive to listen to, when you start getting into some of these unique metals. So he'll be there hopefully with a variety of metals that is very interesting. Just listening to him talk about his use cases for them. He's actually, well, I probably shouldn't give too much away, but he has some scientific methods that he is applying to these metals that will blow your mind in beauty and values that you might not have thought of prior to hearing some of his ideas. So there will be some unique metals, some unique angles on metals, and wealth preservation speeches, as I mentioned. So
cool. I just happen to have this. I think you sent this to me.
okay.
Um, this is Indo-Scythian
Oh,
bronze
yeah.
drachma.
Yep.
And when I first got it, I was absolutely amazed. And you said, I was like, man, this is so cool. And you go, I remember specifically you saying, well, take it out and hold it.
Yeah.
I mean, folks, it's been around a lot longer than I have,
Yep.
and
That's all.
and uh, and it's so cool to hold this. This is let's see, this is Aziz
Yep.
the second, 35 BC to 5 AD, and it's made it this far. There's very little that I'm going to do that is going to damage this beyond repair. This is just
That's right. That's what a lot of people are shocked to find out. Firstly, that a coin from that time still exists, which
yep.
yes, they do. That's what's so amazing and cool about gold and silver and coinage is that it has that's part of what makes it well, it is what makes it money in the first place, right? Its value doesn't go away. It doesn't go bad. It doesn't corrode. It doesn't tarnish. If and I want to touch on that. If it's that we're a lot of people say, well, you can't eat gold and silver. That's like the first comeback people have when you mention gold. Well, you can't eat gold and silver because you start talking about hard times, right? And they're, well, you can't eat gold. What's like what good is it? Well, the idea is this. First, you do want to stack your shelves with some food. Get some canned food that's going to last for quite a while. It'll probably last even past its expiration date.
Or better yet, learn to can and put it up.
Better yet, learn to can, do some gardening. Right? These are aspects that you should have covered, that you should be doing. But once you get X amount of food on the shelf, you don't want to buy more food because by the time you get to it, it will have spoiled. It will have went bad. It will have lost its nutritional value. So that's where gold and silver becomes so important, and it has made it natural money throughout time. Is I can just take a cow from Joe as a payment for now, but if he owes me more than that, that meat, that cow, it's going to go bad over time. So that's where gold and silver come into play. It's a commodity that will be valuable for forever. So that it doesn't lose its value simply because of, it's 2 months now, it's expired, now you need to throw that away. It lost its value. That doesn't happen with gold and silver. It doesn't tarnish. It doesn't go bad.
Best buy date.
Right. So now once you've eaten all of the canned food that you were right to store up when you can't buy it at the store anymore, then now you have something like gold, silver, something of value that you can take and trade for someone to get that new food that you're going to need at that point. So, that's where gold and silver have been valuable for since we can, have documented.
Well,
So,
and as long as there is a human race, there will be some sort of civilization, and it once upon complete collapse, provided the Lord doesn't come back, upon complete collapse, eventually, there will be need for barter and trade, and that's the community thing again. It'll always go back to that. It always has.
Yeah. It's just the natural default. And that's what I really wish. I think a lot of people, surprisingly, even in the stacking community, I find like there's still this argument about, the value of these. And I think the bigger picture is that it's hard for us since I was born knowing that, you're going to work your whole life to earn this little piece of paper. Like that's what's valuable to us. We understand that the dollar is value. And our whole society has only been told that through school. Firstly, we don't get taught much about money for obvious reasons
at all. Yeah.
Right. And secondly, all we're taught is, you just go out and earn that greenback and work hard and that'll earn you your living. And that has been true for my generation, for my father's generation, from his father's generation. So that's a lot of generations of trust in this paper dollar. And so you kind of have to look back to history to realize, these empires do go from a goods-based barter system like you're talking about, with gold and silver just being natural money and the natural barter point, to, let's close the gold window just temporarily and use a little bit of this paper for this short. Well, of course, it's still temporary, 80 years later, whatever it is. And so if you don't look back at history and realize, they're going to try this fiat scheme over and over and over because it gives them power and leverage, more so in today's dollar, the US dollar, the world reserve currency, than ever before. I mean, you'd probably have to go back to the Roman Empire to look at their debasement. Well, that was kind of a worldwide standard, I suppose, too. But, you know, usually it's just one country that goes into a fiat hyperinflation. Now we're kind of on a worldwide standard here, that originated with a gold backing, you know, in Bretton Woods before we closed our gold window. But so now this experiment, all that fake value that's just in people's imaginations has to work itself out back into the commodities. And that's what I believe is happening. And so, you know, I've been stacking for 8 years now, 7, 8 years. And I've been expecting these high value jumps for quite a while. And I was surprised to find a lot of pushback in the silver community. In fact, people hating people like me that said triple digit silver, being quite upset about that I would say something like that, you know. And I think it's because they think, oh, I'm dissing the trust of our country. But these are just facts of reality, that even though I wish my government was trustworthy and would keep honest contracts and not print money to pay the military that's going to enforce other countries to remain in that contract that they would happily get out of if it wasn't for a paid off military by a corrupt money to enforce that contract, you know. So, you know, this is a thing that's going to happen that, you know, no one wants, me included. But
Yeah.
that it will happen. A lot of people will say, the people that say that they know what's going to happen to the silver market, there's no way no one knows that. Well, okay, to an extent, yeah. Tomorrow, will it go up, down? I don't know. In the long run, I do know. Like, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm coming out publicly and saying it, because this has been proven out through time over and over. There's never been a fiat currency that has survived. It works for a while, it gets inflated, and you go back to real money.
Well, and I was talking to a kid yesterday, Ben. Ben, if you catch this, it was nice meeting you, and happy stacking journey to you. But one of the points that I made to him, and this is really about the only thing I got to say about the price, it's never going to be worth zero.
Yeah.
Period. You know,
Right.
you don't, all the arguments up or down, you know, triple digits, what's the economy going to be like? If it gets to that, I get it. There's going to be some implications, but it really doesn't matter. It will not be worth zero. And everything else will.
That is true,
You know,
but I want to point out some things that I hear people say that are just a little kind of double-minded, right? And I find that this is a sickness that is within our society, me included. I'm working hard on not being double-minded. But when people will say, you know, oh, I have no idea, is it going to go up or down? Or, well, no idea, because if I say I have 2 tires and a car runs on 4 tires, and when I put this car together, being I only have 2 tires, I don't know if it will be able to work right with 2 tires when I know it takes 4. Well, I can logic that out for you. You're going to be 2 tires short, you know.
yeah.
And when you go to you know, the institutes that are saying we're in a not a 1-year deficit in silver, not a 2-year, we're on the 6th year running a deficit in silver.
That's
now
pretty important.
That tells me that depending on how big our stockpile of excess is that we can pull out of to cover this short, you know, once that pile runs out, you're not covering what you need. That's math, that's numbers. This is not speculation, right?
Right.
So
exactly.
You know, and then you add on top of that, you know, when the president came out and closed the window and he said, we're going to close this gold window temporarily, but the very next words out of his mouth, but don't worry, we're going to be honest trading partners, meaning we're going to keep honest books. We're not going to just print money without backing. Yeah. Well, now we know X amount of years later, that's no longer true. We're now printing money like crazy to pay a military to go enforce that people keep our dollar being their standard. even though they're getting paid by a printing press that's devaluing them to stay in it, but that's what pays the military to keep a gun at their head so that they stay in it.
Yep.
Now, that type of corruption can only go so far and so fast, because you can't build something that's going to last off corruption. You can't do that. It's like trying to build a frame of rusted material, and you're going to build your frame out of rust. Well, it's decaying. Parts are going to start falling off because it's rusty, it's decaying, it's corrupt, it's corroded, right?
Yep.
That's why gold and silver, they don't corrode. That's what makes them valuable. If you build on corrosion, if you build on fraud, it's at some point going to eat itself. It's going to fall, right? And that's what we're doing. And the more you can print money without a backing, it allows you to get a bunch of money and pay someone to do something that they normally wouldn't do. Okay? And so when you have access to a magic money hat, it ends up you start paying this. Oh, Saddam Hussein, he wants to open up a gold-backed currency. Well, here, I'll print up some money and give it to you guys. You guys take that value and go enforce him not to go onto a gold standard. Well, we did that. Well, we've done that with 2, 3, 4, how many countries now? Well, at some point, that speech that the president made, that he said, "Don't worry, we'll be on a forward trading part," that goes goodbye. People realize that's a lie, and then you realize that, oh, that corruption is seeping down into all elements. Look at our healthcare. Look at our schools. The corruption just is growing exponentially.
Welfare programs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is how I know that this is gonna fall. It's not built on a solid foundation. It's built on fraud. Well, fraud can only last so long. So that's how you don't say you have no idea. No one has any idea about what's gonna. Well, I did. I came out and made a channel and started stacking silver at $15. It went to 120, hit my triple digits that everyone laughed me out of the room for. Now it's back down to 70, but that's a vast improvement from $15.
Yeah, I'll take that. Get that on Wall Street.
Right. And this is just a norm. I was expecting this, and I said, it's going to spike way up. It's going to come back hard about halfway. Don't get scared out of it when it drops back down, because this is just volatility, and the volatility is going to increase as this system keeps unraveling. So for me, we're right on track.
Yeah, exactly.
And to say that there's you could have no idea about it. Well, I did. I started a channel on it. I'm showing you right here daily what I'm doing. I keep putting stuff in here. So, and it's not only is it preserving my value, that value that exists in nowhere land will start to come back into commodities, because it has to escape nowhere land, because people are going to start realizing nowhere land is not holding my value like it used to.
Exactly.
Okay? So this is not hard rocket science stuff. This is I'm horrible at math, yet I can see this crystal clear. So I don't know.
Absolutely. I'm going to take this comment down from OC Omega, but yes, you can drink silver. It's called colloidal silver, and be very careful where you source it. That's about all I got to say about that.
Right.
How about that, y'all? Yeah. Well, I tell you what, this has been an extremely good conversation, and I'm really glad I got an opportunity. I really wish I could get out there to visit you and be a part of this your first celebration. But like I said, it's just one of those things. I'll do it next year for sure. I absolutely will.
I'm already excited to have you, Cranky.
It's we always have fun. And I think maybe we should do this kind of open mic kind of thing here. Again, I like live streaming, and I really enjoy streaming with you. You're a good friend, and I appreciate you very much.
Appreciate you, Cranky.
So I don't know. I guess common etiquette. We'll we'll come back to some more conversation, but I guess common etiquette is to try and find somebody that's. And by the way, Emerald Coast was dropping some links earlier. Thanks for doing that.
Thank you, Mike.
Um, uh, and I guess it's kind of common. But you know what? I do know what I would suggest. When we're everybody, thank you for coming in. And I would say go to Mama T's and Big T's auction that, that tomorrow. That's a big thing. No, that's today. This is Sunday.
Yep,
Jeez,
Sunday.
I've totally lost it. Yeah, when you leave here, I don't know how you set up the raid and all that sort of thing. So by all means, everybody just go to Mama T's. There are probably half of them there already, double screening it, anyways. But uh, the, tell me, let me put that flyer back up again one more time here.
Yeah, so yeah, this is my event coming up. It's called Mile High Moss. It stands for Music, Metals, and Art Symposium. There's going to be food, drinks, live music, art. It's just going to be a good time. It's May 20th and 21st. So this month, in about 20 days here, the event will be kicking off. Yeah, I would love. You're all invited. Bring some friends. You know, someone who's an artist or a musician or wants to display some medals, or if they, I was even thinking about inviting my local honey guy, because I'm all about bees and honey. And again,
Absolutely.
what are the honeys filling their hexagonal honeycomb with nectar for? Just it's for preservation, so that their hive can continue to thrive for future purposes.
Yep.
And that's what we're doing here. This is no new thing. Bees have known about this from the get-go. So it's just so happens that we need to be aware of our current monetary system, and that's what this show is about. It's about things that have lasted for millennia and have been valuable throughout all time, will continue to be valuable. Come experience it, enjoy it. Should supposed to be, like Cranky says, a celebration of life and the finer things, and preservation of life and the finer things. So, would love to have you. You're all invited.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Well, I'm in the process of trying to look at me I'm trying to figure out how to get a link for Mama T's. Y'all know I'm not a tech guy. I'm just saying. Let's see here.
See if I'm.
There we go. Let's see if this does it. Go back to. Don't leave us yet, folks. Let's see if the cranky one gets some success here. Uh, if I do, um, well, heck, I don't know. It'll be. Oh, now my phone's not. Oh, come on, come on. Of course, it locks up.
Hey, OC Omega, good to see you.
Where'd we go here? Do, 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 do,
Thank you,
there we go.
Omega.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm here. Let me see if tech support. Yeah. Oh, Mishy. You know the pain. There we go. There's Mama T's coins. And by the way, Mishy's going to be back. He's not going to be here tomorrow night, but I may have a later live stream with somebody, a very very good friend. It's kind of pending, but nothing definite yet. So if you guys are interested, try and check us out. But 2 weeks from tomorrow, Mishy and I will be back on his channel with the Mishy and Cranky flying by the seat of our pants series, and that's we're coming into racing season too, so that's going to be 200-mile-an-hour silver, fellas. I got to tell you, he's the originator of that. yeah, I hope that link works. Everybody go over and check out Mama T's, and uh, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh,
I,
thank you
I,
for
I,
having me, Cranky.
I
Seriously.
really enjoyed this, and it's just been it's been. I mean, there's so much information in that little cranium of yours that needs to be shared. That I appreciate every time we get together and talk. So,
Same to
um,
you, Cranky.
everybody, if you can go this year to the what do you call it, Moss?
Yep, Mile High
The,
Moss,
there you go,
MMAS
Mile High
for
Moss.
Music Metals Art Symposium.
I gotta bring that back up, and if you can go. I mean, it's and if not, then we'll see you there next year. Because
That's right.
I'm definitely not going to miss it next year.
Awesome. Yeah. And I am going through right now. I'm getting ready to send out this flyer to everybody in an invite. And I just learned that you have to put your contacts into this certain book before you can like email everybody at once. So I'm going through all my emails right now and
Oh my
dropping
gosh.
people into my book. So if you have not emailed me, or I don't have your contact information, but you're interested in anything about me and metals and what we're doing over here, just drop me a email at longlivedcoins@gmail.com, and I will drop you in the invite list. And whether you get an invite from me or not, you're invited right here. If you're hearing me, if you hear this, you're invited. It's going to be at 6652 Wadsworth Boulevard in Arvada. 80003 is the address. So,
Yep.
uh,
There you go. There's his
Mile
email
High,
right there.
Mile High City. That's
Now,
where you.
is that it's I say Denver. Is it Arvada?
It's Arvada, which is a suburb of Denver. For you get to Denver, you're in the right area. So
Perfect. Yeah. You get there. The powers that be will get you to the right place. So,
that's right. You get to Denver and enter in the address, and you won't
hell,
know
the
that you're
airport's 20 miles from anywhere out there anyway. So that's almost a Wyoming state line up there.
right. Yeah, that airport sure has some interesting things about it as well. So
I used to fly in and out of there all the time back in the day when I was traveling coast to coast, and it actually was always a good airport to go in and out of it
yeah,
if you had good shoes.
that's
But
right. Yeah, no, it's a nice airport and got good things, but it's just got some interesting concepts built into it.
it
But
does, and the people movers is a. By the way, I sh- I shouldn't share this, but I'm going to because it's dad burn funny. I was there late one night, gonna fly back to Kansas City, and there was a professional soccer team uh, kind of hanging around the same area there that I was, and there was a few guys um, kind of messing around on the people mover out there, and I accidentally leaned against a little off switch, and it stopped the people mover, and like three of these professional soccer players just biffed it on the
oh
track
no,
there, and the rest of the team of course saw it, and they were like hilarious about it. And I don't know if you ever saw that old Peter Sellers movie, the Party. um, it's like he shot this guy with a dart gun, and then the next scene you see him, he's clear across the room, uh, acting nonchalant and everything. That's kind of what happened to me. I just was all of a sudden away from the switch that I had just tripped, and um, it's pretty funny. It was pretty
it
funny.
is funny. Have you seen Lucifer and the gargoyle in the luggage?
No, no.
So out front they have a giant horse they call Lucifer. It has red eyes. It looks like it's supposed to be the Denver Bronco, is what I'm assuming. It's painted blue, but at night it has these glowing red. They put his eyes as red, which is interesting. And then when you're in the actual airport, there's some very unique murals. And then there's also on one of the walls they have some statue like things. And one of those statues is a suitcase opened, and out of the suitcase is a gargoyle coming out of the suitcase. So it's like, what in the world? And it got so popular that at one point they had put an interaction computer where you would talk to the computer and it would be like you were interacting with this thing. So yeah,
And,
some interesting stuff
and
going
it
on.
can be yours for only $800,000.
All right.
All right. Well, folks, thank you very much for joining us today. If you catch this on the restream, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe to Long Live Coins if you have not. Everybody that's in the chat, sub each other up, hit some likes, watch some videos. Let's grow the community within itself here. That'd be an awesome thing. And
Yeah, and
let
let's keep hitting Cranky's channel up and make sure that he gets all his videos back up and keeps putting more out there, so that doesn't become an issue, because we can't lose our Cranky stacker here.
well, it's everything's okay. It doesn't matter because all I can do is like go on from right here. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I lost my videos on YouTube. I lost everything on
Oh,
all my
okay.
assets on StreamYard. Yeah, no, I didn't lose my channel. I mean,
Oh, that was what I understood.
at
I was
least
like, oh my
I'm
goodness.
sorry. At least at the point of starting today, I hadn't lost everything. Now I may have
Okay.
by now, but
Okay.
but that's okay too. You just get up and go from there. That's it. All right. Well, everybody, I'm gonna close it out the way I always do, and it's like, everybody just stay safe, shoot straight, and keep stacking. Stack the right stuff, y'all, and be kind to each other. How about you?
Sounds good. Thanks, Cranky. Appreciate
All
you.
right. Good to
Thanks,
see you.
everybody out there.
Yep. Good to see you, and I will talk to you again very soon.
Sounds good.
Peace and love, man. See ya.